Yeah, time to reflect on what the last month has been. Um, I really don't know where to start speaking about this, but I I just was waiting for the last version of this month's project upload deployment, and I went into YouTube and I watched a 3 minute video of Charles Bukowski speaking about if you're going to try, go all the way. And I guess that is like the main theme of this month, because I have been battling against my insecurities and against what I'm going to do or what I'm doing, and it has been tough. It has been challenging because I did the work. I worked 2 hours every day on this project, and that is like the main objective. But I felt that I did not have like enough focus, and I was losing it, and that made it hard to find the motivation to understand where to move to, and which was going to be the compass that would guide my actions. And I was like looking for jobs or applying for interviews. I don't think I applied, but I was like looking for jobs, and that was like a big um, detour in my path. And one day it struck me, and it was like, okay, motherfucker, you're doing this, and go for it. So I continued working on the open source factory that is the project of this month, and I will keep on doing this uh, project that I will do until the 15th of May of 2022. That is going to be like the last project of this series that I will ship, and it will be number 13. And the project that I created this month, the open source factory, is I call it the sun from the sun, which will be the center from which all the other projects will revolve around. So I will have this space called the opensourcefactory.com, where I will have a blog where I will write every week what I have learned in that week building the project of that month, and sharing with the world my knowledge and my process of building whatever project I'm building in that month. So I created this blog so that I could share that, and it's in the web page. And I also created inside there a space for sharing the project itself. It's really simple, but it has the idea of the project, the motivation, the video, and the commits from the Git repos, and it's a link to its live version also. The idea is that every project has a live version that is active on the internet and it's working, so that someone can benefit from it. And also the link to the GitHub, so that if one day all this open source work that I'm doing, someone will find value on it and make it better. Because it's funny, every code, all the code, it's like open source, so every one of these projects can get better over time, and I will leave them there. I will not work anymore in this page, at least if I like, if there is a big bug that I need to fix so that it can work, I will fix it, but I will not change like too much of it, because I did what I could this month, and this is it. So there is no perfection, there is only shipping, and this is me doing that, so fuck the rest. And yeah, the motivation like around this project that I built this month is like gaining the momentum that I need for creating all this year. I will be training deeply my coding skills, and I don't want to look for a job because right now I'm in another space of my life. I'm building my family. My partner is pregnant, and I want to live this process as deep as I can. And I also know that coding for 4 hours every day is more than enough. So for my brain, for my process. So the main challenge for me this year is establishing myself on that practice of coding 4 hours every day and learning how to be a really good programmer. And the way that I decided that I would do that, because the self uh, teaching path is really hard, and I said, okay, I will create this project where I will ship this open source project every month, and that will be like the root of my path, and it will be my portfolio in one more year. Like, I did all these videos, no, all these projects. The videos are like nothing. The important is the code. The important is the that the apps work, and that is my mission, to create 13 projects that someone could find value in and work on them, and I mean use them, and maybe help on making it better. So the important thing is like to understand what is that I wanted to build, and be able to build it so that I can transfer it into a reality that someone on the future can help create and make better or use. So that is like the goal, and I feel good with what I came up with. I feels like a great motivator for my process now. So it's up and running. I started learning React, the framework, this month, so that I could build this, because I when I started like looking for jobs and all that shit, I realized that React was like the main hype, and it was a technology that is being used all around the world, and I wanted to learn it. So I dived into it, and built this project with React, and I learned a lot about it. Actually, it was funny because a hard part of the process was to deploy the app, and I started doing it yesterday, and I was like, this is easy, I will do it in one day. And it was like, holy shit, this is something that I had not done before, but I made it. And at the end of the day, the important thing about these monthly projects is to like establish a challenge for myself, and be able to overcome whatever comes up. So I feel good with that, with the learning process of React. It's really interesting what I can build with that. um, I would say that one of the biggest challenges that I have in my learning process is understanding that it's important to be conscious about the code that I write, and do it in a good way, so that I can um, yeah, so that the code can be read in the future in a good way by other programmers. But sometimes I find myself like just doing it, and leaving it as it is, so that it works. And I then realized that the code was not that well written, and I need to perfect my practices so that I can become a good programmer. And that is a really important thing, like maybe the most important, because sometimes I start reading an article about hooks in React, and I say, okay, I skim or like read it fast, and I find what is valuable, but I don't take the time to really understand the concept behind what I'm doing. And I'm sure, and I know that that is the most important thing that I have to do: understand the what is behind what I'm doing, so that I can do it again in the future in a good way, and start building from there. Have all these building blocks in my knowledge base, with which I can build whatever I want to build in the future. So I know that that is what I have to do, but it was hard for me to do it now because I just wanted to like get this ready, and I was against time. So I guess that is one of the core competencies that I'm working in here, like being able to think in the long term and say, okay, I need to write the code good now, I need to learn the concepts good now in a good way so that I can use them in the future. And I'm really working on developing that long term way of thinking, and also like thinking about this open source factory going through until 1 year more, and kind of eliminating from my brain the idea that I can get a job in the meantime, and focusing more in what I know that I have to do every day. It trains a lot of aspects of my being, and I'm excited about it. It's really hard because I'm like banging my head against the wall a lot of times and on my own, but I know that that is the work that I have to do, and learn from myself in the process, and learn from what I'm capable of doing. So yeah, now the open source factory is up and running. I will start writing the blog every week, and continue building the projects every month. I will start working tomorrow on the next month's project, and build it, and then ship it, and then the next one. And that is the work that needs to be done so that I can become what I want to become. Oh, I did not close the video. Goodbye.